Well, on Sunday, the season 4 finale aired, but before I can talk about that, I gotta talk about season 3, which is still probably my favorite season. Seriously, in my opinion, this is as badass as the show gets. First thing we see is Sam running away from the White Walkers. Comes across the other Night's Watch members, they kind of berate him a little bit, which is sad, because Sam's awesome. And they attempt to make the journey back to the wall. One of the reasons I like this season so much is for the first time Jon Snow is interesting. Not as interesting as some other story arcs, but still interesting. He's with the Wildlings, who are some crazy motherfuckers. And their leader, Mance Rayder, is one of the few characters on the show I would consider villains. Another character is Ramsay Snow, who spends the whole season torturing Theon Greyjoy, which is so brutal to watch, man. It's awful watching this guy get tortured. It's like medieval Saw, and to top that off, eventually he chops off Theon's dick. I know some people really hate Theon. I actually really like the character. Oh man, after like Ramsay cuts off Theon's wing, he eats a fucking sausage. That is fucking awful, man. That's horrible. Then Theon pulls a Gollum and takes on the identity of Reek, which I'll elaborate more on in season 4, where he's more of an important character. Ramsay is the bastard son of Roose Bolton, who, surprise, surprise, is another character I consider a villain on this show. He isn't necessarily vital to the last couple seasons, though he was a character in those, but we'll get to that when I talk about episode 9, which kind of dreading talking about that. Anyway, I want to talk about the Hound because this is actually a really cool season for him. First, he's captured by the Brotherhood without banners, and in easily my favorite one-on-one fight in the show, he fights their leader, Beric Dondarrion, who wields a flaming sword, which is so fucking cool. And as you know, the Hound has a fear of fire. Eventually, he actually wins the fight, but Beric resurrects himself. Now, eventually, he does escape with Arya and attempts to take her to Robb Stark. Now, I really like the Hound and Arya's relationship, but it doesn't really get as good as it can until season 4. It's still awesome to see these two interact. They got a really great chemistry. Anyway, back to Robb Stark, or well, to Robb Stark for the first time, I guess. He's trying to earn the favor of Walder Frey. His storyline is actually really tense because the whole season you know something bad's going to happen, and eventually, spoiler, something bad does happen. Now, many of you might wonder, how can I like Jaime Lannister? I mean, he's been kind of a douche the last couple seasons. I mean, I've openly said that I really like his character, but come on, he fucked his sister. He's crippled a kid. And the truth is, I really didn't like Jaime the first time I watched the show, but season 3, his scenes with Brienne are honestly my favorite story arc of the season. In the end of season 2, Catelyn Stark, in an attempt to get her children back from the Lannisters, sent Brienne of Tarth, who is awesome by the way, to take Jaime to King's Landing. However, along the way they are captured by Roose Bolton's men and they cut off Jaime's hand, which kind of puts life in perspective for him. He really goes through a change as a person, and honestly, that made him into one of my favorite characters in the show. He's still not like Tyrion or the Hound cool, but I do really like the character now, so I just wanted to get that out of the way. Anyway, let's get to Tyrion, who, speaking of Tyrion, he has been demoted from Hand of the King to Master of Coin after the Battle of Blackwater. You may be thinking, wait a minute, he won the Battle of Blackwater. Technically, Tywin did, so because Joffrey is such a fucking douche, he made him Master of Coin. Now, that's really all he does this season. I mean, he's forced into a marriage with Sansa, who is actually kind of interesting this season. Believe it or not, her and Shae have a really cool relationship. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said for Bran Stark, who follows a three-eyed raven the whole season, which I just don't care, you know. Now I want to get to Daenerys because I said in my season 2 review that she had a really cool story arc this season, and that is true. She tries to get this massive hardcore army called the Unsullied, who are more fucking hardcore than the Dothraki and Wildlings combined. I mean, damn, man. In the first episode of this season, this guy, I think he's called the Master. He owns them from what I can gather. He cut off this guy's nipple, and the guy didn't even flinch. He was just like, "Yeah, I'm honored to have served you," but obviously he did it in Valyrian, you know, because they don't speak English, I guess. But anyway, she also meets this old guy named Barristan Selmy, who is so cool. In the first season, he threw his sword at Joffrey, which was awesome to see because anytime anything bad happens to Joffrey, it's just cool to see. But like, I just really liked her storyline this season. But eventually she does get the Unsullied with the help of her dragons. She frees a bunch of slaves, and that's how the season ends. But I have one last thing to talk about. That's episode 9, The Reigns of Castamere. Or, more to the point, The Red Wedding. Now, this episode, or more importantly, the ending of this episode, has just gone viral. When it came out, everybody was heartbroken, and I was one of them. And I really defy you not to at least get a little bit emotional in the scene, because Rob and Catelyn were really awesome characters. Catelyn more so than Rob, but I still really like Rob. And, oh man, just that whole scene is awful. Just the worst part though is when I honestly think when Catelyn gets her throat slit. I know it's the last shot of the episode before it goes to credits, but God, nothing really breaks your heart like that. I mean, in terms of TV, there's no moment that I can think of that even came close to that scene. Now, even the commentary really is super emotional. Just this whole season was just awesome, but god damn, and that's not even the last episode. There's kind of an aftermath. Joffrey's all smug and shit. Sansa's of course heartbroken. Arya kills these people because she's gone from basic tomboy to medieval hit girl pretty much by the end of the season, and that really comes full circle in season 4. But anyway, this was a fantastic season. I love it. It's still my favorite season. I really hope you enjoy my review, and join me next time when I talk about season 4. Sequent 1, signing out.